Alright guys, we're jumping into our top 25 Junkwax era card sales on eBay for March 2025. Here are the rules for this video. Pause it if you want. If not, let's jump right into our sales. We're going to start off with this triple that features a Shaq rookie card as well as Alonzo Mourning. This is a very interesting card because in lower grades it's not that expensive. In fact, you can find a PSA 8 that sold multiple times, anywhere from like $10 to $15. Nines get sort of pricey, $100 to $200. And the 10, well, this one over here sold for $3,150. It is a pop 7. Up next, we have a dual 10 of Greg Maddux from 1987 traded. This is from specifically the Tiffany set, which is why you will see this over here. If you aren't familiar with Tiffany, these were premium sets that Topps issued. They have a glossy surface. Some of them can be very limited, but I do believe 1987 was one of the most printed years for Tiffany. Correct me if I am wrong on that side of things. The sold price on this dual 10 is $31.81. Up next, we have a 1994 Finest Refractor of Jerry Rice in a PSA 10 grade. And this one over here sold for $3,205. In the 22 spot, one of many 1987 Fleer that we are going to see in this video today. This one over here is sold for $32.50. Leaf Barry Bonds from 1987. The first time I saw this on the list, I had to double check the comp. And I'm not talking about this video, but some of the videos in the past. But these actually do sell quite often for over $2,000 to $3,000 because they are quite tough to find with the black border. You're not going to see many 10s out there. This copy over here sold for $3,556. Up in number 20, we have Barry Sanders with a dual 10 from 1989 score. Not only do you have the dual 10, but you also have an inscription, Restore the Rear, which I do believe we featured a card like this a few months ago here on the channel. And I also believe the price range was about the same. This one over here sold for $4,050. This card, I think, is a bit undervalued for what it is. So what we have over here is a 1989 Bowman Tiffany. And again, we talked about the Tiffany's. The 89 Bowman Tiffany's are a little bit tougher than some other sets, but this is a dual autograph of Ken Griffey Jr. as well as Sr. Now, here's the funny thing. If you get an 89 Bowman of just Griffey itself signed, I believe that card is really, really expensive. We're talking about 5 figures, but this card features both father and son. Again, dual 10 grades. It only sold for $4,000. But don't worry, you're going to see another Ken Griffey Jr. dual 10 a little bit later on in the video, and it's quite pricey. But let's jump into our next card, which is something I didn't expect to see on this list. This is a 1992 Summer Olympics basketball. It's a plastic card, and it is in a PSA 10 grade. Now, this one over here sold for $4,150. On the card itself, or on the eBay listing, it mentioned Michael Jordan. You can see here on the back, you have the USA basketball team. First time, I believe, like I said, this card has made this Junkwax era video. At number 17 spot, we have a 1994 SB Hollow View Red of Michael Jordan. Die cut, which those tend to be tougher to get 10s on it. And this is a harder insert to find. It sold for $4,173. Well, how hard of an insert is this? Well, I actually pulled up the pop on this, or not pop, some data on this from Baseball Cardpedia. The Hollow View Red is considered the special FX. There's a total of 38 cards that are special FX, and you can find these in 1 in 75 packs. So that is a very, very tough card to find. Let's keep moving forward. Another 1987 Fleer. This time we have Michael Cooper. This one sold for $41.87. Jumping into number 15 spot, we have a 1990 score of Bo Jackson. But here's the kicker. This card is signed. And if you're not too familiar with the story of why this card is quite expensive, and by the way, autograph on it, a little bit streaky. You can see there's some issues right over here, and it does go off the card. It's still incredibly expensive, but check this out. So in 2013, photographer Richard Noble sued Nike over improper use of the image. The case was ultimately settled, but one outcome from the lawsuit is that Bo will no longer sign anything with the bat on the shoulder image. That makes copies of the card he signed prior to the lawsuit very desirable. And this was written by Mike Junkwax Hero on YouTube for Sports Illustrated. And it talks a lot more about it in his article on that side of things. But you can't get this card signed anymore, so the pop on these are pretty low, and that's why it is quite expensive. Up next, we have a 1991 Fleer Tony's Pizza of Michael Jordan. I believe this card has shot up a lot in value over the last 6 months or year. This copy over here is sold for $4,700. Up number 13, we have a 1992 Stadium Club of Dennis Rodman. This is the Beam Team members only. Now the members only. It's hard to tell in this photo, but it'll have a stamp embedded on the front of the card, and that way you could tell it is specifically part of the set rather than a pack. This copy over here sold for $5,212. A 1993 SP Derek Jeter foil in a 9. This copy over here sold for $6,500. A classic card that people want to get of Derek Jeter. This card has gone down a ton over the last few years, but is up quite a lot over its lifetime. In the number 11 spot, we have a 1991 starting lineup of Michael Jordan jumping. This is a yellow border card in a PSA 10. It sold for $6,600. And if you want to see specifically how this was issued initially, right, you have the figurine over here. You also have a collector coin in here, and then you have the card right here. So depending on how it was embedded in here, it couldn't be a little bit tough to find this in a 10, which is why you still see these today going for quite a bit of money. Now, like always, before we jump into our top 10, let's take a look at a few honorable mentions. And we're going to start off with this Willie Mays autograph from 1993 Upper Deck Heroes. This copy over here is a 7 grade with a 10 autograph, and it sold for $1,275. We have a 1990 score, Troy Aikman. We have 3 10s on here, making it a pristine 10. The corners are a 9.5, stopping it from the black label. This sold over for $1,055. We have another Upper Deck SP. This time we're flash forwarding one more year to 1994 of Alex Rodriguez, SGC 10. This copy over here sold for $2,400. Which, I don't know if Alex Rodriguez will ever make the Hall of Fame. I do see there being a possibility of it. If he does, I think these cards have a lot of room to grow. Obviously, Jeter's a lot more popular than Alex Rodriguez, but Rodriguez did have better stats. But that is tarnished by the steroid side of things. We have a Wilt Chamberlain autograph from 1992. He doesn't have a ton of autographs out there on cards. This copy over here sold for $2,625. Nice large autograph on this card. 1989 score Michael Irvin dual 10, both the autograph as well as the card. This copy over here sold for $2,700. 1987 Bo Jackson Tiffany, both dual 10s, just like you saw a little bit earlier with the Greg Maddux. Surprisingly, I thought that Bo Jackson would outsell Greg Maddux on this side of things, just for the popularity side of things, although Greg Maddux definitely a way better baseball player. This copy over here sold for $3,000. 1987 Fleer John Lucas, another 10 that was featured in this video. This copy over here sold for $3,137.77. Now, let's jump into our top 10. So we're going to start off with a 1987 Fleer. Once again, we have Sidney Green, card number 44. This copy over here sold for $7,410. 1994 Finest Michael Jordan. This actually has the coating on it, which I do believe from hearing other people, if a card has the coating, it's a little bit tougher to gem those just based off of surface issues. And this copy sold for $7,500. Technically, I believe if you take off the film, you should have a pretty good surface, although it can be tricky sometimes getting it off on the corners. So be very careful on that. We have a 1993 Hoops Face to Face Michael Jordan. This copy over here is sold for $7,500. In the number 7 spot, we have another Michael Jordan, this time from 1988 Fleer. This copy sold for $7,690. 1992 starting lineup, white uniform of Michael Jordan. This outsold the one a little bit earlier in the video, and it sold for $8,100. Jumping into number 5, we have a 1987 Fleer of John Williams, card number 122. This in a 10 sold for $9,250. And one thing I will say with the 87 Fleer is These are tougher to find in 10s than the 1986s. The production of 87 was significantly less. And how I found that out also was doing a little bit of research and some comments on these videos. So this is a video I have on the channel, the 30 most expensive 1987-88 Fleer basketball cards. So highly recommend you guys check out that video, especially if you like stuff like this, because just putting in a little bit more research on that side of things. And I know people love the prices these 87 Fleers go for. We have a dual autograph of Mantle as well as Ken Griffey Jr. This card has a 6th grade with an auto being a 9, and that's sold for $9,500. In the number 3 spot, we have the 1990 Topps USA George Bush. This actually was the most expensive non-sport sale this month, but I also decided to put it in the Junkwax era as well. It's kind of one of those dual cards in general. It sold for $11,000. Number 2, we have a Ken Griffey Jr. This is a dual 10, as I alluded to a little bit earlier in the video. $18,852 for card number 1 in 1989 Upper Deck, which also we just released a video on. And our number 1 card is another 1987 Fleer, this time Michael Jordan, sold for $20,059. Thanks guys for checking out this video, and if you want to watch some other Junkwax videos, I'm going to put a playlist here on the screen right now. Cover some of the different sets like 1987 Fleer and 89 Upper Deck. I'll catch you guys in those videos.